The original Call of Duty run on All Your History completed in November 2009, just before the launch of Modern Warfare 2. In this appendix to that run, the next 2 years will be covered, leading up to the release of Modern Warfare 3 in November 2011. When Modern Warfare 2 released, it was expected to be a monster. Its predecessor, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, had become the best-selling first-person shooter of all time. Word of mouth had only spread since then, and Infinity Ward had a golden reputation. Nothing else that year had the same hype or buzz that Call of Duty did. Even for all that, its resulting success is still shocking. In its first 24 hours, Modern Warfare 2 sold 4.7 million units for $310 million in the US and UK alone. For reference, the previous record holder was Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 4, which had sold 3.6 million units globally in its first 24 hours. Interestingly, that was also $310 million, according to Rockstar. The numbers didn't stop there. As time passed, Call of Duty only gained momentum as the shooter crossed 8 million units in its first week for $550 million. Only 2 months later, it crossed the billion-dollar mark, with 15 million units sold. By August of 2011, the game sold an unbelievable 22 million units, easily making it one of the most successful games in world history. What set Modern Warfare 2 apart in the crowded shooter genre? For one thing, the single-player campaign was full of showcase action set pieces that played on a grander scale than other games had attempted. Some fans, however, did lament the fact that the series' former realism had been sacrificed for popcorn action heroics. Still, the sheer wow factor of these moments drew many newcomers in. But by far and away, the biggest draw of the game was its diverse multiplayer suite. Modern Warfare 2 featured many different modes and styles, all wrapped around the persistent unlock and level up mechanic that Call of Duty 4 had made famous. Gunplay was tight and fast-paced, and good players were rewarded with a whole slew of new kill streaks, everything from stealth bombers to a nuke. Put simply, the game did a phenomenal job of giving players quick satisfaction with lasting rewards that took time to fully unlock. Combined with good gameplay, that's a devastating combination. So for all that, developer Infinity Ward and its founders, Jason West and Vince Zampella, should have been the favored sons of the studio's owners, Activision. Instead, on March 1st, 2010, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick shocked the gaming world by firing both West and Zampella, the men who had given him the most successful franchise in shooter history. While fans were still reeling from the announcement, the very next day, Activision announced that a new studio was being brought in to develop games in the Call of Duty franchise. Sledgehammer Games, founded by two veterans of rival Electronic Arts' Dead Space series, would be taking the series into the action-adventure realm with a third-person experience. Infinity Ward seemed to have been sidelined after scoring the winning touchdown. But West and Zampella didn't take all this lying down. Only 2 days after being fired, they filed a lawsuit against Activision, claiming they'd been terminated without grounds and that they were owed $36 million in unpaid royalties. That figure was later expanded to $125 million. On top of this, they claimed that Activision created an Orwellian state within the company, posting security guards at the exits and then interrogating members of the studio. But more importantly still, West and Zampella claimed that they had signed legal documents that gave them, not Activision, the rights to the Modern Warfare brand. The Call of Duty brand clearly belonged to their old bosses, but Modern Warfare was theirs, or so they said, and they wanted it back. Unsurprisingly, neither Kotick nor his lawyers were happy about this. On April 9th, Activision countersued. Their claim was that West and Zampella had actively tried to sabotage other Call of Duty games, specifically those made by developer Treyarch. Activision also claimed that, in breach of contract, the founding duo were secretly negotiating with rival publishers, like Electronic Arts. Worse, the two of them had selfishly hoarded royalties for themselves instead of distributing the wealth to other Infinity Ward employees. If Activision won the suit, then Activision would be the good guys and pay their employees huge bonuses. Or so they claimed. Clearly, their employees didn't buy it. On April 28th, 38 current and former Infinity Ward members filed their own lawsuit against Activision, claiming that, you guessed it, they were owed millions in unpaid royalties. All told, it was a stunning turn of events for a group of people who should have been celebrating their unprecedented success. The lawsuit, countersuit, and other lawsuit are still ongoing. Currently, West and Zampella's case is scheduled to go to court on May 7th, 2012. Bring your popcorn. In the meantime, the two founders founded another company, Respawn Entertainment. Respawn is currently at work on a new game in a new franchise, and they're very clear that they, and no one else, own the IP. Electronic Arts will be publishing the title, thrilled to be competing with Activision's biggest franchise, with the guys who made Activision's biggest franchise. While all of this was going on, Call of Duty's other studio, Treyarch, was finishing up their new entry into the series. On November 9th, 2010, Call of Duty Black Ops released. It had quite a bit riding on its shoulders. Obviously, Activision and the Call of Duty brand had undergone quite a beating in the press. Fans were nervous that without the series' founding vision, the franchise might not be what it once was. If Black Ops didn't succeed commercially, then it would be proof that it was West and Zampella's personal touch that made COD a monster, and not the general gameplay mechanics. Given the track record of Treyarch games versus Infinity Wards, no one expected Black Ops to do as well as Modern Warfare 2. But starting on its first day of release, Black Ops defied all the odds and smashed even MW2's records. It sold 5.6 million units in 24 hours in the US and UK alone for $360 million. And as time went on, its popularity only increased. Black Ops changed settings from the modern day to the Cold War, spinning a conspiracy-laden yarn about special operations forces fighting around the world. It very much followed the MW2 style of large action set pieces that eschewed realism in favor of the cool factor. In addition, Treyarch's previous co-op multiplayer mode, Nazi Zombies, returned. It even let players fight off zombies as famous US presidents. Kooky. But once again, the primary draw was the multiplayer. It was as fast-paced and intense as ever, with the same tight controls as before. But that said, most fans were pleasantly surprised that Treyarch had actually addressed all the concerns of Modern Warfare 2. Despite its massive popularity, over time players found that Infinity Ward's game was unbalanced and rewarded unfair playstyles. Black Ops, by contrast, felt much more even-keeled and better encouraged gamers to play fair. It didn't do anything dramatically new from where Infinity Ward had led, but improving on the most popular multiplayer in shooter history was enough. Black Ops has remained the most played game on Xbox Live since its launch. By August of 2011, it had sold a staggering 25 million units. Treyarch had proven that Call of Duty could thrive even without its founders. But because there hadn't been enough legal turmoil yet, in December 2010, Activision expanded its countersuit against West and Zampella to include their new pals at Electronic Arts. Activision now claimed that EA had actively tried to sabotage Call of Duty by luring the founders away, because they were unable to otherwise compete with the juggernaut. Kotick and his lawyers now wanted $400 million from EA. That's all. Other than Black Ops' continued dominance, all was quiet on the Call of Duty front until May 13, 2011. Out of the blue, gaming news site Kotaku broke a huge story. A massive amount of leaked photos and information on the next Call of Duty game, which Kotaku proclaimed would be Modern Warfare 3 from Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games. Almost immediately, Activision silently confirmed the leak by putting up teaser trailers for MW3. While a new Modern Warfare game had been expected, Sledgehammer Games' involvement was a surprise. This studio later confirmed that it was asked to help Infinity Ward out. This is likely because the chaos at Infinity Ward after the founders' departure made them unable to complete the game on their own. Regardless, Sledgehammer's commitment meant that their third-person action-adventure game got put on the back burner. Its future is currently unknown. A flurry of COD activity followed. On May 31st, Activision revealed Call of Duty Elite, a stat tracking and social networking site very much like Bungie's BungieNet service, or Blizzard Entertainment's BattleNet service. While any player could access certain features, such as clan making and video sharing, for $50 a year they could also receive DLC and premium content. The Elite program is likely Call of Duty's response to World of Warcraft's monthly fee. WoW, which is run by the Blizzard half of Activision Blizzard, generates an estimated $1 billion per year in subscription fees. Activision has always wanted COD to earn them a similar post-sale revenue, and Elite is their chance to get it. But that wasn't enough COD news for Activision. In June, they announced the first annual Call of Duty XP, a fan convention inspired by their Blizzard half's annual BlizzCon. The convention was held on September 2nd and 3rd, a celebration of all things COD. In addition to having a playable demo of Modern Warfare 3 on the floor, Activision went the extra mile and even recreated an entire map in real life for fans to play paintball in. Kill streaks were turned off. While tickets were a steep $150, Activision announced that all proceeds from ticket sales would go towards the non-profit Call of Duty Endowment, which seeks to help returning veterans find civilian jobs. Also, everybody who went got a free version of Modern Warfare 3's Special Edition, plus a year of premium COD Elite. Combined, that paid for the cost of the ticket. Not bad. And of course, all the details of the upcoming Modern Warfare 3 were announced at the convention. Like Black Ops, it will seek to address concerns about Modern Warfare 2 by balancing the game better. In addition, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer are trying to make the experience customizable enough so that every gamer can have their own kind of fun. Whether players want to play single or multiplayer, whether they like to seize an objective or just kill people, MW3 wants to be the platform for them. The multiplayer has even deeper level up and unlock options than before, and the campaign will once again showcase jaw-dropping action moments in a World War III scenario. It will release on November 8th, 2011. When it does, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is fully expected to be a monster success, very likely to break Black Ops' incredible numbers. This would make it one of the biggest games of all time. Again, still not everything looks rosy for the mega franchise. Electronic Arts is gunning hard for COD's crown, unleashing the highly anticipated Battlefield 3 from their developer DICE just 2 weeks before Modern Warfare 3. Going forward, EA will also release Respawn Entertainment's first game whenever it's done. From the Activision side, the possibility of oversaturation remains. Activision famously released too many Guitar Hero games too soon, and it killed the franchise. Compounding the issue, in 2010, Activision stated that 70% of its revenue came from Guitar Hero, Call of Duty, and World of Warcraft. With Guitar Hero gone, Activision cannot afford to lose another pillar. But thus far, fans have remained loyal to COD's frequent releases, and Activision will do whatever it can to keep the kill streak going. For at least the near future, no franchise looks able to dominate the market like Call of Duty.